Hey guys, what's up? This is something I really didn't want to put up as a video, just to begin with, but with the situation ongoing and just this is my way of getting my frustrations out. You can understand that there are now situations where people are actually actively spitting at emergency workers and threatening them, saying that they've got the virus. This is both despicable and it's just plain wrong, and saying that they hope that their families catch it as a result of them passing it on. Recently, there was a case in the UK which has now been dismissed by the courts, which I find just abhorrent and just disgusting, where an officer was spat at by someone that they were trying to restrain. I'm not sure of the details of why the individual was being restrained, because in the UK, currently our policy is that you can go out for your daily exercise once a day for an hour, or if you need to get medical supplies, or if you need to get your essential shopping for they recommend like a week. There have been discrepancies in that, and changes have been made. But something that's actually really horrible is that this individual was stopped from being prosecuted. Now, the police are actually going back on that and trying to argue against it. They're trying to appeal the decision made by the courts, which I think is only right, and considering that the officer is doing his or her best to protect the country, and he or she is a key worker. They have to be out in the front lines, unlike someone like myself who can choose to stay at home and is probably in the best position just to be living at home. This individual can. There's a legislation that was passed a couple of years ago within the UK, which was actually because of drunken assaults on emergency workers. That was kind of the typical reason why this legislation came up, and it created legislation that increases sentencing to about 12 months as a maximum. However, I don't think we've actually dealt with this potentially as well as the Americans. Now, this is an American website that I've actually looked at, and it's a government-based website, and it's verified, it's fact, it's not fake news as opposed to what you might think. And actually, I agree with America on this. What they're doing is they're charging individuals for certain behaviours and under the Terrorism Act, which I can perfectly understand. Bioterrorism are biological agents, are organisms or toxins that can kill or disable people, livestock, and crops. A biological attack is the deliberate release of germs or other biological substances that can make you sick. There are three basic groups of biological agents that could likely be used as weapons: bacteria, viruses, and toxins. Biological agents can be spread by spraying them into the air, person-to-person contact, infecting animals that carry the disease to humans, and by contaminating food and water. From the situations we've had, all of these should apply to the situation that I discussed, especially the person-to-person contact. It is the deliberate release of germs. The individual coughed in the officer's face. Therefore, they need to be charged under bioterrorism. I would call for the UK government to appeal legislation immediately, so individuals like that are taken off the streets, so that they don't actually infect other people. And if they get the disease, they deserve to die, not the people that they're trying to infect. They need to be locked up immediately. Now, I don't know how other countries have behaved in terms of their local population and what their specific legislation is, so I wouldn't feel right to comment. However, because America and the UK act quite similar in certain ways and behave quite similar. I think I can make direct comparisons in that respect, especially since I'm a UK citizen. I'm relatively aware of some of this legislation. I mean, it's been brought up the last couple of days on the news about the potential to kind of change legislation around this, which I think it can only be a good thing. If people can't learn to behave themselves, and like you've got trash, every country has trash somewhere within their society, regardless of culture or anything. You have people that just, well, let's say if they get the virus, they deserve to get the virus. We've also seen a few cases where actual people have deliberately licked food and drink on shelves, because even though the food and drink tends to be in packaging, the packages are themselves infected, and depending on how or what the type of material is, the virus can stay on that surface. I think it's for like cardboard, don't quote me on this, for up to 72 hours, which means likely someone is going to touch it, someone's going to bring it into their home. If they don't disinfect their entire shopping, essentially whatever they put in the fridge then contaminates other produce. There are also open aspects to food as well. For example, you've got your in the UK we have quite open fruit and veg sections. Therefore, there's quite a high risk in that respect. What would you consider to be the best kind of way to deal with this situation? Do you think these people should be locked up? Do you think prison should be used? Or, in my case, I also think I would appreciate the police being more forceful. If they have to be a bit heavy-handed, I am more than happy for them to take as much force as they feel necessary to punish the individual and to make them suffer. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. I'm not too fussed as the in terms of like whether you like the video or not. It's not me trying to be controversial. It's me trying to say this situation is not getting any better. It is what it is, and there isn't much we can do about it. We just have to suck it up for the moment. But there are just individuals within the society that are making it much worse for other people. People are actually dying out there, and these selfish people who are acting up for no reason other than to get attention, as technically that some of them would argue, our freedoms are being limited. They're not being limited. They're being restricted for good reason. Sometimes the government needs to do this in order to protect the overall population. These would be the same types of people who would criticise if we didn't do anything. And I don't care if you dislike the video. I am stating fact here. I am stating it based on my opinion and what I've heard in the news and what I've just seen within behaviour that just makes my blood boil. These are the types of people who I can only hope are made to truly suffer for it. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.